What is going on, everybody? Sorry for the slight delay in getting going, but we are live. How do you like the new setup? This is my streaming and work desk. This is where I'll be doing any kind of remote podcast working. As you can see behind me, the studio is not yet complete. And we also have not yet gotten the walls up that will separate the studio from the family room. However, we are in business. It was super, super important to me that I was able to have an area to work in. And so here we are. Painting has been completed, aside for when we're gonna have to give it the wall and everything. But we're here, y'all. We're here. I'm happy you're here as well. Apologize that there will be some slight little setups and hiccups, and barf bags are available if you need them for throw-ups. Hopefully there won't be any of those, though. I'm realizing now that I'm starting to get more and more NPR in all of this, but it's good to be here. All right. Say what up to some folks in the chat. Sugar Kitty stopped in before things even got kicked off and said meow. What up, Sugar Kitty? John, the Embellished Podcast, was here early as well, said, I don't even need to watch this stream to know which one prevails. I think you'll go broke betting against Dixon. And while I agree with you, I am curious how these two might look side by side. Is there any really true distinction that made me feel like they would be a good comparison? Honestly, no. No, I was just like, we'll do a little battle. Tony Bag of Donuts was third in the chat. And Mr. Darren Wright, all the way in the 502. I'm going to give this a try. Hi, y'all. Good to see you, my friend. Tony Veravides, hello. What's up, buddy? Perry After Dark. It's a little dark in here. Once I get some lighting things figured out, it'll be quite a bit brighter, but I'm running off of some hanging light bulbs and a lamp right now. A nice little LED light, but Perrick After Dark. Where is Derek? I do not know where Derek is tonight. Well, let me fix my mic real quick. There we go. That should be better. And I still say meow, hashtag multitasking. That's why you're the best cat in the biz, Sugar Kitty. Thank you for all you do. Hope you guys have had a good week. I am just warming up with some good old Evan Williams Bottled and Bond. Nothing fancy, nothing makes you feel like you're doing anything too crazy, but boy howdy is it good. Cannot complain about some Evan Williams Bottled and Bond. What's everybody else drinking? Let me know in the chat, please. I am excited to get into these two bottles. Not been disappointed at all by anything 2XO has done so far. We did just review the Tribute Blend on the podcast. I guess that was last week. It was not this week. And had good things to say about it. And then we've also got the Wolcott Rickhouse Reserve. 120 proof, and as you can clearly see on the label, distilled by Barton 1792. So they're pulling out all the stops, Wolcott. They're actually talking about where their whiskey is being sourced from. I mean, truly, it's just a decision that was made by Total Wine. They're big wigs. So, Wolcott is not a distillery, nor are they truly a, they're not really producing too much. They're an NDP. But even then, what do you call them? Because they're not, they're under, I don't know, whatever. Are you in the new digs? Having some Discovery 9. First of all, Danny's Candies, good to see you. Yes, we are in the new digs. We have been here for a week and a half, and it's been lovely. Catching up on sleep, I didn't realize I had missed out on for a good while. And, yeah, just enjoying having our house. It's nice. Good evening, everyone. Started with a pour of JW Dant from Big Plastic Jug that is getting very low. Brett Venata, good to see you. Welcome back. One of our newest TIMBP family members. It's good to have you, sir. And thank you so much for continuing to listen to the back catalog of This Is My Bourbon podcast. And if you actually have not yet heard it, this week was the 300th episode of This Is My Bourbon podcast. Does that mean there aren't bonus episodes? Of course not. There are so many bonus episodes. There's part 1s, there's part 2s, there's Patreon content, patreon.com/mybourbonpodcast. $5 a month. There is just an endless stream. Not endless, it'll end eventually if you listen through enough of it. But an incredible amount of backlog content over there for you to go and listen to. So be sure to check that out. Sorry, trying to balance all of my audio stuff. And I forget sometimes that what I'm hearing in my headphones is not necessarily what you're hearing in yours. So I apologize, but we'll get there. We're working on it, y'all. We're working on it. But yeah, the audio edition of the 300th episode came out yesterday. And the video edition will be out tomorrow for our YouTube fam. So if you're waiting on the video version, you just got a little bit longer to go before that hits for you. I told you, we're just adjusting as we go. Cheers all. Darrell, the Whiskey Saint. Good to see you, man. Hope things went well last night. I apologize for not being able to stop in. It just wound up being in. The weeks get longer, man. I tell you. But yeah, truly hope everything went well last night, and I'm sure that it did. You got a lot of people who are behind you, my friend. Love you and want to take care of you. All right, I do believe I have stalled for just about enough time. I am ready to take a deep dive into these two expressions. I will say, too, it was nice to be able to walk into a Total Wine, and there was an expression of whiskey by Dixon that was $50. That was affordable. It's been a long time since things have been super affordable with Dixon. Maybe ever. Never? I don't know. But the man's making good whiskey. Seems like he's enjoying doing it. Turning into a rock star all over again. Where is Snuffy? He must be starving, poor guy. He's behind a box right now. He's on the bar. I'm pointing directly to him. He's right there. But if you want to feed Snuffy, if you want to support the show through our method of super chatting, which is called Snuffy Chats, and that goes to feed our dear patron saint of live streams, our dear sweet boy Snuffleupagus, back there. You can head to the tipping link in the description below. All sorts of ways to do that through Stream Elements. If you do it through Stream Elements, your message will actually pop up here on screen if you feel so inclined. But that being said, I'm just happy people are here. It's all that matters, man. Y'all showed up. All right, let's get these poured up. Now, these are two distinctly different products. Truly, the only reason that I wanted to do a side-by-side was because I had two new bottles that I wanted to try out side-by-side. First pour is the 2XO 2x oaked whiskey. Well, Kentucky straight bourbon whiskey, I believe is what we actually have saying here on the bottle. Yes, 92 proof. Finished in American oak barrels. The American oak blends bold notes. There's a typo on the back. Blends bold notes of vanilla and caramel arise from the secondary addition of highly charred white oak introduced toward the end of maturation. These sweeter flavors create a complex balance with the spice notes from the rye and the mash bill. $50 a bottle. You want to try it out? Try it out. You know what's great, too? I'm seeing your snuffy chat there from a couple of weeks ago, Tony, saying internet fund. I guess that was longer than a couple of weeks ago now that I think about it. We have stellar internet now. Absolutely fantastic internet. So the second pour comes from the Total Wine, what do they call it? Direct Spirits line of whiskeys. Well, spirits that they put out in-house only. This is Wolcott. It is distilled by Barton, 1792. It is 120 proof. And I gotta be honest with you, that's all the information we have here on the bottom. Rickhouse Reserve. Fine charred American oak. Yep, that's all I got for you, unfortunately. There's not any more information on this, but that being said, I'm just curious. Because you've got basically two bottles of sourced bourbon. One that we kind of assume is going to be more cared for, and there's going to be more effort and patience put into the production of it. And then we have one that's basically put on the shelf by a corporation. So how are these two going to compare? And to be quite honest as well, was kind of hoping I would inspire somebody else to get their name on the screen. I saw your play. I saw the gameplay that was happening. Probably very similar to Costco's Kirkland bourbon then. Brett, I have not had the Costco's bourbon yet. I mean, it's essentially the same like process for getting it in bottles and on the shelves. But aside from like 1792 full proof, I mean, there's not a whole lot that I really have to compare it with. That being said, though, the proof discrepancy is remarkable as well. I mean, one's 92, the other one's 120. David Levine from the Whiskey Ring podcast. What is up, buddy? Said, I made it. I am happy you made it. I have not gotten to your particular portion of the show just yet. That will be a little bit later on. But thank you for stopping by. So, starting out with 2XO American Oak. It is Calumet Farms. Oh yeah, good point. Donnie the Linux Cat says howdy. He made it. Hello, my friend. It is good to have you in. He says, mash that like, click subscribe, and ring that bell and choose all so you get notifications and you don't miss a thing. That is all of it. That's all you need to know. Donnie's done it. David, see you in 30 then. Hashtag Snuffy Chats tips. Those are tips, yes. Tips can be given over at the Stream Elements link that Donnie has posted in the chat, and also you can find it in the description below. All tips are appreciated, but not required. Recommended, sure, but by no means required. Just if you feel so led. I gotta put some insulation in the ceiling. You can probably hear the creaking. It stopped. It's a fruitier nose on the 2XO. I don't mind it. Coming off of the Tribute blend from 2XO, I was expecting things to be a little bit bigger and bolder. Not upset with this, though, by any means. It's just a little bit lighter than I was anticipating. So, I will go in for a sip. No, there are no ghosts here, Tony. Bagadoni. Temporary stream location? No, this is going to be where I stream from here on out. There's a lot of, like, moving parts behind me. And things have just not been... I mean, look, there's 2 chairs 69ing behind me. I mean... Why did I say that? That's what they're doing, though. That's what it looks like. Hi, y'all. Congrats on 300. Thank you so much, Emily. Thank you for stopping by. It's good to have you in the chat for a little bit. So next week, there's a wall that's going to go... Glad y'all thought the chair joke was funny. There's a wall that's going to go up right there, and it will basically separate the basement into 2 rooms, whereas it's really just 1 right now. And this whole half, that's my search history. That's fantastic. What's up, Clifton, Mr. Bourbon Bites? Good to see you. We'll never hear you curse, but you'll say your chairs are 69ing. Yeah, sure. But yeah, this will be a room in and of itself, and this will be where I do all my work. This will be where the podcast is recorded from here on out. But yeah, I'm very excited about it. I'm very much looking forward to it. All right. Cheers, y'all. Thank you so much for being here. Let's find out what's going on with the 2XO American Oak. It's very corn forward. It's very corn forward. Corn, a little bit of maple, a lot of vanilla. Some like chewy caramel candy as well. I will say, for 92 proof, there is quite a lot going on with this. I mean, it's complex, for sure. Mr. Tony B with the $5 Snuffy Chat. Congrats on 300, bud. Thank you so much, man. It is crazy that we have done 300 weeks of This Is My Bourbon Podcast. Not slowing down anytime soon. We're just going to keep going and going and going forever. Till my hands fall off. You know, that inevitable thing that happens to all people. it's mostly people who podcast. After you get to a certain point, your hands just fall off. It's a very well-known fact. And if anybody says anything in the chat opposite to that, why are you sabotaging me? That's what she said. That is what she said. You are correct. Can confirm. Clifton knows. That's why Clifton had to stop doing the Bourbon Bites podcast, because his hands felt. Oh, is that a one-arm joke? Hands not required for podcasting. That is true. What are you doing with your hands in the podcast? Do you need an adult? Do we need an adult? Excuse me. I am an adult. Almost went over my head. It did. It very, very, very nearly went over my head, Clifton. But that was well timed, well executed. All very good. Yes. Yes, 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 yes. All right, Wolcott Rickhouse Reserve. Hey, not a bad nose. Not a bad nose at all. It is strikingly similar to 1792 Foolproof. Don Nishida, nothing goes over my head. My reflexes are too fast. I mean, it's funny. I don't. What do I say here? And there's nothing to say, too, that sipping on Lawrenceburg, Bourbon County's gold medal winning TIMBP pick, you know, the one that sold out, cough Patreon, so it's a good thing I bought, too. It is a good thing you bought, too, Tony. Thank you for supporting. Not only supporting the show, but supporting local business. Very kind of you. You're a gentleman and a scholar. Go to my stable and take my finest stallion. His name is Windjammer. And if anybody gets that reference, you deserve the no prize for the week. All right. Let's see. Whoa. It shouldn't be this good. It feels wrong that it's this good. I want Brego, and I'll accept no lesser horse other than Shadowfax. It was not a Lord of the Rings reference. Nothing that was from Drax and Guardians 1. That's why it sounded so familiar. I apologize, Don. That is a great line. This is a $45 bottle of sourced bourbon from Total Wine that I would buy again. This is truly spectacular. It is rich. It is oily. It's complex. The finish is really, really extensive as well. Perry, remember we were asking about the new batch of Bernheim Barrel Proof? B923 is out. Love you too. Lucy's going to get eaten. Yes. It is so funny that you say that B923 is out. Oh, this has my old address on it. That's right. We got the daggum sample from Heaven Hill. I was not anticipating this. I mean, really, I was not ready for the Bernheim to come out. I thought at this point, because there was just no talk about it. There was no discussion that there was going to be a second batch of it. And I mean, not that I'm like listening to industry insiders constantly, but it just like happened. And I mean, to be fair, there was no real hype around whatever it was. It was A223, A320. I don't even remember. It came out at a weird time. So I'm not entirely surprised, but I am enough to just be like, we didn't even get a press release. We normally get a press release in the mail, or in an email, whatever. You know what I mean? But we have it, so we'll be reviewing it soon. Aaron, I don't think I've seen you in the chat before, but welcome. Thank you so much for being here. Subscribe if you haven't already, please. But also, just thanks for checking out the stream. Good to have you here. Same thought. I had a tasting in the Hamburg location, and it suckered me in on viscosity. It is splendid. Got my Bernheim B923 sample today. Thought they had just given up. I thought they had too, honestly, finally. I agree with you, Clifton. He's got the goods, something like that. I want a media sample. Hey, Tony, just start a podcast. And after like 5 years, they'll start sending you stuff. That was the burn. Oh, you were talking about the finally. Well, the thing is, we also got, where is it? The C923. The Elijah Craig. But something has been screwy with Heaven Hill's system this year, and every single release I have had to send them an email and say, hey, I think you missed us. But we get everything else. We get things that I'm not even anticipating. But Elijah Craig Barrel Proof this year, something happened. And they were like, I mean, like literally every single release we haven't been able to get without saying something. So, I don't know. It's fine. It got here. I made sure I was waiting. I was anticipating it by the time it got here. So, but yes, I do have it. Four Leaf Whiskey, what is up, Stacy? Good to have you in the chat. Hope you're well. Sorry, trying to get caught up on chat. Hello again, Whiskey friends. Mr. Jeffrey Wack is in the house. My friend, it is so good to see you. Darrell was on here earlier. I said, I am sorry that I was not able to make it last night. It's just been an insane couple of weeks. But I trust that everything went well last night. And I know that Darrell's got a great, strong support group behind him. So I am sorry I was not able to participate. I'd feel really, really bad about it. But I'm anticipating hearing good things. Good news, good news, good news is all I want to hear. C923 is very tasty. I had a little sip of it yesterday, towards the end of the day, and I was very much impressed by it. I was very impressed by it. I'll go ahead and spoil it next week. We're going to be reviewing that. We're going to be reviewing the Larceny C923, and we are going to be reviewing the Bernheim B923. So, big Heaven Hill week again. But I'm still hanging. Everything went way beyond I thought what was going to happen. Holy crap is all I'll say. Dude, that's so good to hear, Darrell. I'm so happy to hear that. And again, I really do apologize for not being able to make it. Anyway, congratulations. That's fantastic to hear. This community showed up like never before, never disappoints. That's what you like to hear. What's better, Wolcott Reserve or Flatboat Foolproof? Maybe that will be the next comparison. Recency bias says the Wolcott, but I don't know for sure. I will genuinely have to take the time to try it side by side with the Flatboat, which I have historically liked. I have not disliked the Flatboat Foolproof by any means. That was only my second sip, and that was great. What a way to come back. Man, that's impressive, is what I'll say. I'm very, very impressed to have this from Total Wine. Absolutely nailed it. Now, this is where I got myself into a little bit of trouble by putting these two whiskeys up next against each other, because they are so vastly different, and both are very good in their own right. However, I'll get by with a little help from my friends. Papa Ritter's in the house. What's up, Papa Ritter? Hope you're well, buddy. So, going back to the 2XO, that's had a little bit of time to open up as well. The oak presence has really started to come out the longer that it has sat in the glass. Just a little flat for me. Tony, look at... Oh, it's a great song. Takes 4 days to get it like me, 2 to 1 to leave. But the part that really gets me are the moments in between. Never lie to get a little, laugh at every little thing. She's high on information, I'm all low on self-esteem, so I'm gonna try. Great song. I should do a music stream again sometime. Maybe on like a Saturday. Moved on to an old Scout pick by Bourbon Pursuit. This is the most savory bourbon I have ever tasted. I need a steak to go along with it. Ooh. You know, the common like answer that you get when you go on Google and you're like, what's the best bourbon to pair with a steak? They usually like do something a little bit lighter because you don't want it to overpower the steak. I disagree. But I also just like bigger, bolder bourbons anyway. And so I would rather have a big, bold, 120 proof, cast strength, plus bourbon with my steak. I think it just, even if you get something a little bit sweeter, it kind of counteracts some of the savory as well. Not on my playlist yet. Yes, that was Tribe from the John Mayer Trio, who just played at the Crossroads Guitar Festival. How many times have you all thought about the Roman Empire today? Not once. Not once. I haven't thought about it a single time today. Those Bourbon Pursuit Old Scout picks were solid. I've not had one. I've not had one. I would love to try one though. So once no. Oh, yeah. This one is 117.6 proof, so right there. Nice. Yeah, I mean that's what's up, man. You thought of Thank you, David, for censoring yourself. Papa Ritter with the hard-hitting question. Brett Venata, how do you like in your new Chiefs fans? I am curious to see what the Google search trends have been like over the past week for whichever friggin' Kelsey brother it was that plays for the Chiefs. I just can't hear anything else about Taylor Swift. I just cannot. I've already made you snort once this week. I've met my quota. The funny thing is, Travis, all right. Sorry, Brett, that was not meant as a slight against you. I just don't. As a Chiefs fan, I just like, I'm so over Taylor Swift. I'm so over her. Cat scratching at something. David Levine, what I was going to say is, I know your sense of humor enough by now to see those coming from a mile away. Just like when you thought about the Roman Empire during... Never mind. Both of these bottles were about $50. Like, roughly $50. I think, pound for pound. And this is being somebody who likes... why don't I write a song about it? I don't want to... I'll go on my Taylor Swift rant tomorrow, and you guys can hear it on the podcast next week. But... Not that I didn't already have one. But... Sorry, just turning the music down a little bit. Getting about 25% off there. Her stuff with the National was pretty good, but she's drifted from that again. I mean, it wasn't bad. The stuff she did with, of course, I cannot think of the band's name right now. I want to say Sleater-Kinney, but that's definitely not that. The friggin' band that does Skinny Love. See, that's Brett. That was the other thing that I was really curious about too. How much of his jersey sales increased because of this? 400% seems like a small number to me. Like, I would have anticipated it being like 1,500% up in sales. And I mean, 400% is not anything to be, you know, to turn your nose up at. That's a heck of a lot of money this guy is making because again, she was there. But I just, like, I was really, really curious how those trends were changing because she was present. I'm over Taylor Swift. Something about a gift. I started this Sorry Perry Back to Bourbon. No, we can talk about it more. How often have you thought of the Taylor Swift empire today? More than I want to. That's the biggest issue. I just don't want to give her the space in my brain. I don't. She's just over it. Amos from the Moose Lounge podcast. What up, Perry? You mean you're not a Tay-Tay fan? Not particularly. You know what really soured me on her more than anything was the undying dedication from people who think that she invented breathing or the very concept of music. That's what really gets me more than anything. And I just, it permeates so much of our current culture that it is impossible to avoid. And so I just get tired of it. And it's just never gonna end. We still got 2 years on this huge tour that she's doing. I don't know how I'm gonna do it. Anyway. Not Lizzo. That Lizzo situation is so bizarre. All songs have to rhyme. Donnie's the same way. All right. Why are we talking about Taylor Swift? I literally cannot get away from hearing about her. I'm complaining about Taylor Swift more than anything. So we'll end the Taylor Swift conversation there and go back to talking about whiskey. Oh, Brett, it's nobody's fault. If anything, it's my fault for continuing the conversation. I suggested we move on. We'll move on. Two $50 bottles, both excellent. If you like lower proof, I think the 2XO is the way to go for you. I like the big, bold complexity of the Wolcott. I think it's really, really spectacular. I think Total Wine hit it out of the park with this one. And it's rare that I say that. It's very rare that I say that. So, thank you. Thank you, I guess. What am I doing? I had no reason to say thank you there. Taylor Swift has broken my brain. I can't think of anything correctly anymore. All right, closing out the night. I mean, we still got a little while. I'm going to hang out for a bit. Because why not? It's my show. I'll do what I want to. Yeah. I'm also really tired. So I have not tried these yet. They literally came in the mail today. I am so excited to try these. These are 2 Jack Daniel's single barrel proof ryes. Both of which were picked by our dear friend who is still in the chat, I do believe, Mr. David Levine of the Whiskey Ring podcast. His own proprietary pick here at 133.9 proof. And also for the New Jersey Bourbon and Yacht Club at 133.8 proof. Now, you may be asking yourselves, how do you get into the New Jersey Bourbon and Yacht Club? You may think, is it you have to like bourbon? Or you have to have a yacht? Both are incorrect. You have to have a small penis. That's how you get into the... Oh, America. Oh, you know what? Dave, I've actually got your Glencairn. So, I will pour your pick into your Glencairn. Tony's in. Oh, Sugar Kitty, no wonder I never heard of it. Most men from Jersey. David's not happy about that one. That's some bougie club is right, Tony. I told you that in confidence? Homie. It's the worst kept secret in America. Everybody knows. I should point out I am Pennsylvanian by birth. Sugar Kitty. That's probably why you haven't heard of the New Jersey Bourbon and Yacht Club. It is a well-known fact indeed. Oh, Big Vic's in the chat saying, "Cheers, you sexy beast." Big Vic. Welcome to TIMBP Live. Hey, good to have you in here, man. Good thing I'm from New York. Hey, and you're Jewish. I'm really just hitting them out of the park this evening. Hashtag rigged. This is good. Welcome to TIMBP Live. Things are not normally like this. So yeah, I'm starting with the Bourbon and Yacht Club pick. You did not teach me any of this, Dad. You are correct. For anybody who doesn't know, my dad is in the chat. Mark Emmenecker, cheers, Perry. Good to see you, buddy. Hope you've been well. They cut off a little, but not that much. The first thing that I think of when I'm smelling this rye is how badly I want a candle made out of it. It is so incredibly rich. And there's like like a chocolate maltiness to the nose as well. It's quite deep. All right. Let's see what the Yacht Club whipped up for us. It starts out with this like huge rush of alcohol. The two Davids that are here, I was reading. I'm keeping up with your back and forth, and it's good. It's very good. But yeah, there's a lot of alcohol up front, but it really starts to kind of mellow out about halfway through to the finish. There's something red. There's something red on the nose. I cannot figure what it is. But specifically, like it's a red... Maybe it's just red fruit? But if we're going with our synesthesia notes as well, it is a very red, hefty, intense pour. I like it. I was so happy when they announced that these were going to be these single barrel proof ryes were going to be a part of their lineup of, maybe it's Rudolph, that Jack Daniels was going to include these as part of their lineup from here on out, because we had that single barrel run of the Heritage Barrel. Was it the Heritage Barrels? I can't remember. Back in 2020, I think 2021. I don't remember. And those were incredible. And it was like proof of concept for why they should do this. And I think that, I mean, I've only had 2 of these picks so far. I'm about to have a third. All 2 of them. All 2 of them have been great. So moving on to David's pick for his podcast. Really, you're just your brand, Dave. It's not just the podcast, I suppose. Dang it. Sorry. Slight technical malfunction with my body. Just decided that it was going to be mean to me. It is leathery. It is oaky. There's a tobacco note on there too that is so... oh man. I haven't even drank this yet, and smelling it, I'm thinking about pairing this with a cigar. That's like one of my first thoughts. I've got to have a cigar with this sometime. Funny thing is, there were 4 barrels. We chose 3. Third is in Chicago because they were all so good, except the 4th. Woof. That was bad. Take it to the body shop. I am curious, too, what was off about that barrel. Oh my gosh. That is special. Oh, the finish. Oh, the finish has this, like, honeycomb thing going on, but it's a little savory, too. It's also got a little bit of, what is that? My tasting notes are a little off tonight, I apologize, but it's very good. It was flat, hot, and poorly constructed, and it had a plastic bung, so we knew others had also turned it down. It needed either 2 more or 2 fewer years in the oak. Interesting. Well, unfortunately, you can't take time away, so you must trudge forward. I wonder if you, I mean, it kind of defeats the purpose of calling it a barrel-proof pick. But I do wonder if you could get a pick like that. You're in the middle of the pick. You're like, I wonder what this would do with water, and you add a couple drops just to see how it changes it, and it just immediately like improves it. I wonder if some distilleries would be willing to do that for you. I don't know. Here's something that we talked about on the podcast recently. Sounds exactly like a girl I knew in college. Sugar Kitty. Sugar Kitty. Sugar Kitty. Sugar Kitty. What? Sugar Kitty. What are we doing? What are we doing? This stream has been so scuffed. Lexi let her tasting in that barrel was her favorite, but don't say anything outside of this chat. So back to what I was saying. We have spoken on the podcast recently about like how special picking single barrels is, and like how we want to, we want that to still be the case. We don't ever want to really see that go away. But there's also the conceit, and I don't think I'm the first person. I know I'm not the first person to bring this up. But the idea is that what you are picking from in a single barrel pick is already like what's been rejected by the master distiller or by the distilling team, and that it's basically them just trying to get rid of that. I'm curious. I'm curious what you all think about that, because I think it's I don't think it's true, quite frankly, and it would be true only if. Sorry, yes, we are also going into extra innings. I apologize for going over my allotted time, but I'm having a good time. So, if all of the barrels that we got for single barrels were considered rejects, then every pick would suck, right? Like, isn't that the logical next step? Like, clearly not everything. I just feel like, and I'm thinking about specific people who they're more inclined to be cynical about the bourbon community and the bourbon industry than maybe I am. And I'm not saying that, like, I'm not slightly cynical, but I think I'm reasonably cynical about these kinds of things. Like, I'm just aware. The rest of Whiskey Tube can wait just this once. That is fair. Just poured one at 130.6 proof, not a very complex one, kind of hot in one note. But I don't know. I'm genuinely asking you guys who are watching or listening, or watching on the replay too. Please let me know what you think about this, and I'll read off some of the comments here live. But it I can understand that notion, that thought, like feeling like we aren't getting the best of the bunch, because like why wouldn't they save it for their big releases? And this is across the board. This is not just talking about Jack Daniels. I just, I don't know. I'm not willing to be that cynical about it, because there have been excellent single barrels. There are single barrels that win gold medals and awards all the time. Like, clearly, that's not the case. Problem also is that you don't know why they rejected it prior to. I mean, that is highly... That is a very good point, Tony. And so many of those factors go into it. It didn't blend well. It wasn't good as a single barrel or up to the standards that the particular distillery would have wanted it to be. However, it's like good enough for somebody else to pick it. But it's hard to like nail down what the exact reasoning would be behind it. Not necessarily. Single barrels are either the most representative, think William Heavenhill, or the most off-profile without being bad. If they think it's good enough for a single barrel or not blendable, it goes into a single barrel. That's kind of where I lean a little bit more as well. I mean, it's not like you're not going to Buffalo Trace for a Weller foolproof pick and getting rolled out the barrels that are intended for Pappy 23. Like that's the realistic side of this. Like you don't have free reign when you're doing single barrel picks. You are at the mercy of everybody who is on that team giving you what they think is either the best of what they have at that moment, or they're just giving you what they have to give you. Like, that's the notion behind it. That's the conceit. And I just don't know. I do think that a big part of it is that they don't think it can be used. It doesn't have particular components that can be used to blend into other products, other batched products. I think, David, you and I align on that pretty accurately. Picks, I almost said pricks. Picks could just be off profile or not blend well, right? That's the other part of it too. It's not necessarily, and that was a big thing that I don't feel like we see this as much anymore with single barrel picks, like the things that are really off profile and funky. I feel like in the heyday of single barrel picks, before the oversaturation hit us a couple years ago, 2017, 2018, we were getting things that were just not indicative of a brand's flavor profile. And that was fun. And that's something that I truly do miss within bourbon picks and bourbon communities. Like, just a weird, crazy thing that like is still really good, but you're just not anticipating it being that way. I do miss that. I do miss that. Papa Redder says, cheers and love to all. Gonna bounce, but I'll be back next week. So will I, Papa Redder. Love you, buddy. Hope you have a good night. But yeah, let me know more, folks who may be watching on a replay or listening to the audio version of this. Audio versions of the live streams will be available the week after the live stream itself in the main audio feed of the podcast. So if you want to go and check it out that way, you can do so. But also, thank you guys so much for watching. It's been a fun night. Had a good time hanging out with you all. I really enjoy both of these picks, David. Not blowing smoke, not trying to brown nose. I do like the wedding ring podcast. I do like the wedding ring pick a little bit better than I do the Bourbon and Yacht Club pick. Oh. Oh. Now that's a rye whiskey. The wedding ring pick, I think, is for more of when I'm in the mood for something really, like, aggressively bold. Which is, I mean, more common than not for me. That's just where my palate leans. Is just packed with flavor and complexity. And it's not to say that the Bourbon and Yacht Club pick doesn't have depth and complexity, but it's a little bit more comforting. I feel a little bit more relaxed when I'm drinking it. So definitely, I have a preference between the two, but I still think both picks are absolutely fantastic. Excellent work, all. And then, of course, in classic TIMBP fashion, have to see what the two of them blended together are like. That'll roughly put it at 133.85 proof. I want to know, does anybody know what how likely it is that distilleries, when they are doing proofs, especially with single barrels, are rounding up in particular cases? Like, say the 133.9 was actually 133.86. Are they rounding up to the 9 on that, or are they rounding down to the 8? Things that I, of course, know very well from school, but I don't typically, explicitly think of it. What? That's a completely different animal. That's another whiskey in and of itself. Those two things are not even... They're not even close to being the same. TTB only allows for 2 decimal points. Okay, there you go. Life's deep mysteries there, Perry. Deep and thought-provoking. That's why you come to the My Bourbon Podcast live. Love TIMBP Live. Don't forget to tune in to Bourbon Bites at 7 Pacific. Amen to that. I think I might be able to tune in this week. Thank goodness. I think. I don't know. I got to be up early for work, but I'll probably stop by for a little bit. All right. Blending the two of them together. It curbs the alcohol presence on both significantly. I mean, it was almost like adding water. Ooh. Oktoberfest festivities start tomorrow. Can't wait. Love me some Oktoberfest, man. I should do an Oktoberfest beer and bourbon pairing next week. That might be what we do. That sounds fun. Don't you mean specific time? Yes, sorry, 7 specific time. Is everybody just peacing? Are we just peacing out? Are we just done? Y'all ready to pack it in and say that was a night? Whatever. It's fine. I would have thought this blend between the two would have been like 100 proof. I wonder what the Jack Daniel's Bonded Rye would do with a single barrel proof. If it weren't just slightly too far away, I would go get it. But it is just slightly too far away. Also, cheers, Zopher. Sorry I didn't say hi to you. But I do believe that is my time, ladies and gentlemen. Please tip your waitresses. And I will be here next week. Same bat time, same bat channel. Thank you all so much for supporting This Is My Bourbon podcast. We'll see you real soon. Until next time, I'm Perry, and this has been TIMBP Live.